All right, so, and I guess what you can say is an unexpected twist. Maybe for some people it's not an unexpected twist that they've been following the story, but for me, myself, I was pretty surprised to learn that Iran, a country of roughly 100 million people, is literally running out of water. So today we actually have kind of a unique opportunity. Shirzad Ghaneh, she is the CEO of the Persian edition of the Epoch Times, and she was here in New York, so we grabbed her, sat her down, and now we can ask her exactly what's going on. So Shirzad, what's happening in Iran?
Yeah, thanks, Roman. It's a pleasure to be on prime time. Yes, Iran is actually facing very serious and very fast-growing water shortage crisis, and that's the result of like 4 decades of mismanagement. And when we talk about mismanagement, it's about like building dams and like over-extracting groundwaters. And you imagine we are talking about Iran, that there is abundant rivers and lakes in the country. And also, if you go to the north of Iran, it's so lush, and there are forests and mountains and sea. And even those provinces in the north are facing this shortage of water. And people are wondering what's really going on. Then there is mismanagement. When we talk about mismanagement, it's about also agriculture, because around 90% of the water from the country goes into the agriculture, and there's been basically very insufficient use in the agriculture. Then there is a shortage of drinking water when the water is going into agricultural and not being used basically efficiently. And then there is the other problems, like aquifers are being depleted faster than they're being recharged. Then prolonged drought, and then summers that are being so long, and rising temperature. In some cities, the temperature is up to 60 degrees, unbelievable.
Which is just for, so okay, just
Celsius.
So that's Celsius, 60 degrees Celsius.
Yes,
It's like last month it was like 148 degrees, right? Somewhere in Iran.
48 degrees.
It was the hottest place on earth, right?
It's new. It's not something that we had that in the past. Yes, for example, south of Iran, it's like Dubai. It's so warm, would get to 40, 45, but being 65 is something that we hadn't had in the past. Then there are other things that are happening, there's a group of, they're saying the water mafia happening in Iran. That's a group of like engineering firms, consulting firms, together with construction companies. And these are all IRGC related companies, kind of IRGC affiliated. They work together.
So the Iranian military, right?
It's not military. Military is different from IRGC. IRGC it's kind of above military. Military is basically
the countries. The military is the country's military. IRGC is the party's military.
The Revolutionary Guard.
Right.
Yes, yes. So these are all again related to IRGC and under the control of IRGC. Then they do the large scale projects in Iran, that they're constructing dams, and then there is like this consulting company called Mahab Gut. It's working with Khatam al-Anbiya, again under IRGC. They construct these dams, and this is the mafia that goes to a very small circle of people that are being benefiting from all these projects.
Wait. So what's happening is you're saying that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is building the dams and basically consolidating the water resources, and it's messing up the water supplies for like everything else, including agriculture?
True, and also because of the profits and benefits that they get through these projects. When you define a project, go do the project, and there are a small, like a circle of people who is getting money out of it.
Are they considering doing the whole desalinated ocean water thing? Because I know Israel's been saying, "Hey, we'll go and build it for you guys."
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, are they?
Like they would accept that?
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't. No,
But I mean, maybe they could do it themselves.
They're also
But
talking
are
about
they thinking
moving
this?
population centers closer to the water sources, I heard, or I don't know if that's as serious. I guess it's been floated, so to speak.
And there have been solutions, but it's like there is no real solution, because there should be a will to really make big changes. And it's not that something has happened overnight. It's been 46 years of mismanagement.
Can I ask you, you say it's mismanagement, and I heard the president even said it's mismanagement. So is that how people in Iran see it? And are they admitting that themselves? Like, who is it that's saying it's mismanagement? And I'm also wondering, if it is people in Iran kind of saying that, is this bubbling over into
And that's
political
true. That's true.
unrest?
Yes. Now everybody knows that it's been through the mismanagement. For example, they wanted to grow wheat in Iran after the war with Iran-Iraq war that happened. They decided to grow some agricultures inside Iran and not to import it. That was a very, very wrong decision. For example, because there was not enough water to grow, for example, wheat. They could easily import it. So they wanted to be like, how do you say it, self-sufficient, like just to have everything inside the country. And this is one part of being mismanagement. But yes, people are not very happy. Like I talked about the provinces in the north of Iran, and there have been uprising after that. And then Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he sent a message to Iranian people that, you know, after the regime, we will give you our technology of how we have less water than you guys have, but we have sufficient water at the same time. So yeah, these are the things happening. And about what you're saying, it's not just about water. There's also electricity outages. So they said, okay, we were gonna Wednesdays, the offices, like government offices and banks, are gonna be closed. Because there is no enough electricity and water. And then there is just recently, the government spokeswoman, she just said that, okay, everybody go on holiday for 3 days because we don't have water, we don't have electricity. And now even in Tehran, it's like over 10 million, like around 14 million population, they have like 2 hours at least outages per day in the households. And people
So what's the experience like for like the average person? Is it like you can't take a shower, or is it like there's no drinking water? Like, how serious is it?
There are drinking waters, but people in some, depends on cities, and from one place to other, it's different. People are looking to store water. Like they're searching for every drop of water just
So
to
when it's
store it.
on, you're filling your buckets.
Exactly.
So it probably defeats
Exactly. Yeah.
the
And I want to
purpose
say
in the end.
something, about this electricity outage is that something new is happening is in 2021, Supreme Leader allowed to have this cryptocurrency minings. And then there is
Say no more.
and electricity in Iran is so cheap, right? Yeah. And then there are these farms that mostly are kind of affiliated again with IRGC, and all the benefits goes to IRGC, that they are kind of doing. You know, there is around 1,800 these miners in Iran, devices. And also there are Chinese nationals working on some of the farms because it's banned in China, so the miners come to Iran with cheap electricity, and they can license them, they can work there. And this is also a way to circumvent the sanctions, right? Because Iran, federal, like foreign currency reserves, it's getting lower and lower compared like to 2018. It was $120 billion. Now they cannot sell oil. And they cannot easily provide the oil just to Chinese companies. So now it's shrinking to 33 billion in 2025. So this means that they need some way to get around the sanctions, and this is a very smart way to do that.
So that's like a good example of like how the water mafia operates, right? Like you have these Chinese Bitcoin miners, and they want to come. They can't do Bitcoin mining in China, and so they set up shop in Iran, and they bend the rules to bring the water to help the Bitcoin miners operate, right, with either the electricity or whatever the cooling. And it's like a small circle. It's not really helping the population. It's just helping the people making those deals, right? There's another case I read about steel manufacturing. The same thing, right? Like there was a steel manufacturer owned by the government. They diverted water that was supposed to be for the people in order to manufacture the steel, and that's it. And you know, everybody got rich, except for the people, I guess, who needed the water in Tehran or any other of these cities.
Yes, there is one. No, it's not in Tehran, actually. There are two steel manufacturers in the province of Isfahan, which is the very, you know, the river that people love that river, but for many months of the year, they stop the water in the river. And it's happening for many years. Like it's, at least I remember from 20 years ago that they're stopping the water for many months. To kind of divert the water to somewhere else. It can go to steel or can go to some other provinces for agriculture as well. So this is a type of mismanagement that we're talking about.
Well, last question. what's the feeling from the people of Iran? There's always this kind of like question, like, is this going to be the thing that where people are going to come out to the street?
You know, the reality is that the Islamic Republic does not represent the Iranian people. It does not represent their values, their interests, their aspirations, nothing. And they are just, you know, kind of exporting their ideologies to other countries, to these Houthis, to Hamas, to Hezbollah, at the cost of Iranian people. And there have been multiple uprisings, one after the other, over years. And sometimes they just need one trigger to just get into the streets. And it might be, like, maybe Netanyahu has basically chosen very right time. He's saying, okay, there is going to be water crisis, so people are suffering, and I send this message. But there will be another time that people get into the streets. But these water and power outages probably can trigger that.
Well, I can imagine if you know, you don't have water, that's probably the last straw, right?
It's 140 degrees out.
Right, yeah.
It's a bad combination.
All right, Sherzad, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, if you wanna know more about what's happening in Iran and you happen to read Farsi, PersianEpicTimes.com. There you go. All right, see you later. Enjoy the water you have, right?